Lucianne, do you know what day it is today? It's Mummy and Daddy's wedding anniversary. It's true. And obviously you weren't there, apart from in the back of our minds as what we wanted to happen afterwards. But I am going to tell you the story now. So wake up. Wake up to hear the story of Mummy Daddy wedding day. It goes like this. Part 1. Morning. Barely. I woke alone but for the cats, who, not content with being fat, had felt my dreams they must intrude, with plaintive cries for feline food. I was half awake, sure Mum had gone to feed them. But the muse went on, and as my brain kicked into gear, I realised Mummy wasn't here. A fact that didn't cause dismay, as I twigged it was our wedding day. So I fed our beasts and made a drink, went back to bed, trying not to think of all the joy the day might hold, as it was less than 5 hours old. The Sandman's always welcome kin, but no match for adrenaline. Each hour that passed, I grew more sure, like Macbeth, I would sleep no more. With a building whirlwind in my brain of thoughts too joyous to contain, I truly felt I was about to open the window and gaily shout. But the neighbours wouldn't appreciate such an Asbo way to communicate. So instead, I shared my innermost feelings with a heartfelt post. Part 2. Morning. A reasonable time, an unreasonable request. I had no need to rush and no wish to pace. So I brewed up some coffee, tried to tidy the place. I ate yesterday's pizza, chilled for maybe an hour, then went back upstairs to get in the shower. But before I got in, I heard several vibrations. My phone was aglow with notifications. I was touched that so many friends and relations were letting us know that they shared the elation. I'd not written a speech, scared I might make Mum sad. And we both understood it was hard for Grandad. So I told my best man, I hope you'll understand, that you can't give a speech. It would make us look bad. But as sluices of spray sloshed the sleep from my eyes, a delayed understanding started to crystallise. Of course I couldn't have known what to say. I'd had no idea how I'd feel on this day. So I telephoned Johnny, concerned he might rue, saying, just let me know what you need me to do. And I told him I wanted to speak from the heart on my sleeve off the cuff. Unsure how I might start, so this ad hoc address would need some introduction and some toasts. So just ignore my prior instruction. For the good Mr. Whitmore, our wedding would teach, you should not trust the groom when he asks for no speech. Part 3. The blessing of family. My morning matured in a leisurely way. I knew Mummy was having a busier day, but as a chap whose ablutions are blessedly brief, I just had to suit up after cleaning my teeth. So I carried on faffing a couple more hours, till Nan called to tell of delays with the flowers, invoking a delicate fragrance of panic. Then your cousins arrived, and the day got more manic. Auntie and Uncle were tending to Layla, who back in the day was a bit of a whaler. They asked why I was still in t-shirt and jeans. The boys were all glued to electronic screens, so I did the recycling, emptied the cat tray, till Nan let me know they were now on their way. I got the boys' suits and left them to get dressed. Also, I went back upstairs, trying not to get stressed. I put wax in my hair, donned cotton and tweed, my whistle and flute, looking dapper indeed, but I felt the ensemble was lacking for something. Where had I put the piano key cufflinks Mum had given so kindly just a few days ago? I last saw them, well, I don't know. But with everyone looking, we searched high and low until they were found, and I was good to go. I had order of services, checkbook and pen. I slipped into my shoes and said, "Come on then." Grandad Paul wasn't ready, as they'd barely arrived. But I'd grown impatient, and as you know, I can't drive, but I felt I'd had my fill of familial fuss. So I told the boys, "Come on, we'll just get the bus." But Sis said, "That's not how you travel to marry. Give me Layla, and you can drive them there, Gary." You're not listening to this story, are you? We're going out now. Come on. Part 4. In the presence of God. We were dropped at the church with no further strife. Not quite first, just behind my best man and his wife. We all piled out the car, thanks for the ride. Handshakes and hugs, then we stepped inside. I set up my iPhone to capture the service, fumbled with my flower. Can I get a witness? Nat fixed my buttonhole. John drilled the ushers. More guests were arriving, but there was too much hush there. So I made my excuses and went up to the gallery where I'd stashed the gear that swallows my salary. I plugged in my amps, hooked up the iPod, and turned up the 16, singing glory to God. Then I mingled a while, being asked by each guest, "How are you feeling? Bet you're quite nervous and stressed." I replied to each, "I just feel excited. I'm to wed my best friend. Couldn't be more delighted." I was told Mum arrived as 2 p.m. loomed large. The assembly were greeted by the priest in charge. I thrilled knowing my future happiness was waiting outside in a top-secret dress. The string quartet version of Crazy for You played as ushers and flower girls all fluffed their cues. Bridesmaids approached as I stepped to the altar, all the time worrying my legs would falter. I planned to turn round at a specific part, but the choreography had fallen apart and the kids had all rushed, and I worried I might now turn around before Mum was in sight. As the violin swelled, I felt that time had stopped, until sighs were sighed and jaws dropped. I turned and was speechless, my heart full of joy, my princess approaching, my worries destroyed. As we locked eyes, we clearly knew the days of lonely nights were through. There was no fear of chilly feet. Together, we would be complete. Radio silence for 24 hours, added a longing as we took our vows. Some guests later commented on our sincerity, a renewed idea of our complementarity. Part 5, time lapse. Confetti, flowers, photos, car, a pint of pride grabbed by the bar. Candles, feasting, speeches, dance. I kissed my bride at every chance. As friends had warned, the hours rushed past, and though it seemed to end too fast, the day was filled with love and laughter, beginning our happily ever after. Love you, baby.
Love you too.
And I love this baby.
Yes.
She's awesome.